Students in the Daytona State College Broadcast Television Production Associate of Science degree work as production crew members in the following program.
It is an absolutely perfect day for softball on campus at Daytona State College. 75 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, and a great rivalry revisited as the Eastern Florida Titans are in town to take on your Daytona State Falcons. We're absolutely thrilled you can join us, everybody. I'm Drew Felios, and so excited to have Austin Lyon here in the studio today. And Austin, great to see you, my man, and really, really looking forward to this.
Yeah, tremendous day for softball, as you mentioned, and a great opportunity to showcase these two schools and these two outstanding programs.
Absolutely. Now, Daytona State, they come in struggling just a little bit. Remember, they were on our broadcast last year. They absolutely lit it up. They're hoping the same thing happens this year.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been a trying season so far. This is a team that's been decimated by injuries, struggled to find continuity within their lineup, but players are starting to get healthy, starting to get back on the field. And as this team looks toward the second half of the season, there are brighter days ahead for sure.
Absolutely. Pitching has been a little bit of an adventure for head coach Kelly Harrell. The lineup has been shuffled a lot. And in this game of softball, when you don't have that system working, when things are changing, it does make things awfully difficult, doesn't it?
Especially challenging when you don't have one or two reliable pitchers in the circle. We'll talk about that as the broadcast goes along, but it's been a challenge for sure to find consistent arms to be able to eat up innings for Daytona State.
All right, let's look at this Titans batting order as they will hit first. We've got Kayla Damone leading things off. Molly Reed second. 4 is in the 3-hole, followed by Thyson Holland, Wilson Sarah-Leach, Addie Lau behind the plate, Courtney Stout, and Trinity Howard is going to be in the circle for Eastern Florida on this beautiful afternoon. Now, for Daytona State, we weren't sure who was going to get the ball in the circle. And just minutes ago, we were informed that that will be Hannah Rizzuto. We'll talk about Hannah in just a moment. Riley Keefe will be behind the plate. The outfield, Rodriguez, Strickland, and Brennan. Good speed out there. Linhart is the third baseman. Onésimo, can't wait to watch her play at short. Daisy McQueen at second. And Anna Margettis has been the best offensive force for Daytona State in 2022. Both teams right now, the national anthem being played on the field. We are in the studio, of course, and getting you ready for another fun day of softball. Let's listen in. So, Eastern Florida comes in with a 3-7 record. Funny, Austin, because Daytona State, they've played 23 games as opposed to the Titans 10, and there is a look at Hannah Rizzuto. Let's see what she can do.
Rizzuto will throw a screw and a curve. Her ball naturally moves and rises a little bit. She is extremely competitive, a player that Coach Kelly Harrell didn't expect to have in the circle at the start of the season, but she has pitching experience from her days in high school and travel ball. And when the moment came for Kelly Harrell to look to someone to be a leader and be able to step up and give this team some innings, Hannah Rizzuto was the player. She is extremely competitive and certainly can do more than hold her own in the circle.
It is that great competitor in her that is her best quality, more so than a particular pitch. And for Eastern Florida, very young head coach and Shelby Pettick, fresh off the playing field. You're seeing the youth movement all over the game, Austin. She has found a place in Melbourne.
Outstanding hitter during her career at Presbyterian, spent a couple of years there as an assistant, now gets the opportunity to do it on her own program at Eastern Florida.
So excited you were here. sit back, enjoy Daytona State softball as we bring it to you on the Falcons Athletic Network. So the Titans swinging it first. And Kayla Damone will come up for Eastern Florida. She'll hit from the left side.
And this is a tremendous challenge right off the bat. Damone, the top hitter on the team in terms of average at 441, already has 15 hits. And when she gets on, she's the biggest threat to steal. So an opportunity for Rizzuto to really set the table here.
Yeah, so important that Hannah gets off to a good start in the circle for Daytona State. And there is one right down the pipe for a strike. I mentioned how well the Falcons played last season when we were here. Coach Harrell said, yeah, we hope that scenario happens again. We certainly need that in our season as this one is driven into right field. It'll drop for a base hit, and it gets by the right fielder, Peyton Brennan. Runner will move to third base, and how about that start for the Titans?
That's the speed of Damone. She puts so much pressure on opposing defenses. Brennan bobbles it just a little bit in right field. That allows Damone to not take one, but two extra bases. You get a glimpse of just how fast she is and how much pressure she puts on opposing defenses, so she's at third with nobody out.
Now that brings up Molly Reed for the Titans. Throw out the records anytime these two clubs square off against each other. Really in any sport, it's just a different level of competition.
It has the look of an inter-squad scrimmage, right? The color schemes are identical. You have Daytona State in white tops and blue pants. Eastern Florida the opposite. They're in the blue tops and white pants. So these two color schemes nearly identical, and the way these programs have played over the last couple of years very similar as well.
But don't you dare confuse the two schools. So much pride on both sides as that one just misses a little bit high. So Molly Reed will be starting in left field today for Eastern Florida. As Rizzuto continues to work here. Got a good screwball, good curveball. That one gets away from her, and that is in the dirt. See a little bit of wind blowing in from center field. Shouldn't be much of a factor, but there's some pretty good power on both sides here in this game today.
You notice the brace on the right knee of Rizzuto coming back from a torn ACL injury that was a big setback for her, but she was on social media posting videos about her comeback, a player who loves to play the game and really embodies that competitive fire that Coach Harrell loves to see within the players in her program. And certainly that fire being tested here in the top of the first inning with the leadoff hit from Damone, the walk to Molly Reed, and now runners at the corners.
And Mackenzie Four at the plate. She has got some kind of power here for Eastern Florida. And now runners on second and third, so an early threat here, couple in scoring position. Going to test the will right out of the gate of Hannah Rizzuto. This one delivered outside. And question is, Austin, this runner is walked or does get awarded first base. Coach Harrell may have to make an early decision here. Don't want to panic. Of course, we're just out of the gates, but there are several options she can go to here today.
It wouldn't be completely unfamiliar in terms of the series between these teams. When they first met on February 3rd, Sarah Pollock started the first game of that doubleheader, didn't make it out of the first inning. She allowed 4 runs and 4 hits in what was ultimately a 7-1 loss for Daytona State, but certainly not the type of thing you want to see again. And it's all about getting, one strikeout, 1 out. That first out sometimes can be the hardest in a game to settle yourself down and get that confidence. And that's certainly what Daytona State needs right now. And it's a big challenge going up against Mackenzie Four. She has shown tremendous plate discipline this year with 9 walks.
And she drills this one to center field. Center fielder comes in. Strickland makes the grab. Both runners tag up. And the Titans are on the scoreboard as Damone crosses the plate. And it's 1-0.
So a productive out for Eastern Florida, but for Rizzuto, an important first out. Get that first one on the board, the run comes in, but what you want to try to do is limit the damage. When you have runners on second and third, you don't want to get too caught up in giving up no runs or just one run. You've got to make quality pitches, make pitches that batters want to swing at. Just don't want them over the heart of the plate.
Now it's Brooke Thyson's turn, the shortstop. Hitting in the 4-hole here for Eastern Florida. Very valuable member of the lineup. She plays shortstop and hits cleanup today. And just a freshman. Very, very talented young lady. And she'll take one high and outside. She's from Claremont, East Ridge High School. There is so much softball talent here in the Sunshine State.
Just incredible. You think about the metro areas in the state of Florida, Orlando, Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Jacksonville. The travel ball that's played in those regions of the state is tremendous. And it's talented enough. You've got players going to SEC schools, Big 12 schools, Pac-12 schools, and the talent filters down here. Those schools miss sometimes. And so these programs, Eastern Florida and Daytona State, are the beneficiaries of that because they get tremendously talented players that are capable of being on Division I rosters.
Pitch by Rizzuto just outside. Game being called a little tight right now by the home plate umpire, so Rizzuto's going to really have to earn this. And 3 balls and 1 strike. Runner on third base is set. Molly Reed is there. And a 1-0 lead early on here for Eastern Florida. This ball is popped up down the right field line. Drifting over there is Brennan to make the grab. And in comes run number 2. Good job tagging up by Molly Reed. So it's 2-0 with 2 outs.
Yeah, 2 productive outs from Eastern Florida, doing what they want to do. If you're Rizzuto, you've gotten 2 outs, and now it's 2-0. Nobody on base, you've limited the damage. If you can get out of here, a 2-0 lead is not something that's insurmountable for this Daytona State lineup.
So now Grace Holland's turn. Grace, a sophomore out of South Carolina, a transfer from Flagler College. And she hits it right back to the pitcher. Knocked down by Rizzuto, and she'll make the play over at first. So a couple early dings to Hannah Rizzuto, but she's able to get her team out of the inning. Just underway here at Daytona State. It's 2-0 Eastern Florida with the Falcons coming up. Welcome back here to Daytona State College. Drew Felios, Austin Lyon, our phenomenal crew, doing a great job as always here on WDSC TV. Eastern Florida comes up with 2 big runs. Now they're in the field, and Trinity Howard gets the ball for the Titans.
Trinity Howard, a right-hander, and this will be a new arm for this Daytona State lineup. Howard did not pitch in either game of the doubleheader when these teams met back on February 3rd. Howard certainly capable in the circle, and she'll be dealing with a talented Daytona State lineup.
Yeah, let's meet that lineup for Daytona State. Adriana Onesimo, tremendous all-around player. She leads it off for the Falcons, followed by Maddie Linhart, Hannah Rizzuto, the pitcher, Anna Marquettes, the top offensive force, 18 RBIs, leads the way so far this season. Mariana Rodriguez also can swing it. Daisy McQuain, Sarah Pollock, we could see her in the circle later today. Peyton Brennan and Strickland hits in the 9-hole.
Onesimo was probably a player who was hoping that she would see one of the 2 arms that she saw the first time these teams got together because she was the best player on the field. 6 for 8 in that doubleheader against Eastern Florida back on February 3rd. A tremendous talent at the top of the lineup for Coach Harrell.
That's a game that, of course, Daytona State won Austin, so it helps knowing you're playing an opponent today that you did get a victory over. That game back on February 3rd. You know, it seems like season hasn't been that long, but the amount of games these young ladies play, every day it's usually a doubleheader, which puts a little bit of extra pressure on everybody.
Yeah, already 23 games this season for Daytona State, and we're not yet at the halfway point. Haven't started conference season, which is around the corner for the Falcons. But Coach Harrell talked about how this season has been a bit of a grind, and it's because there's been so much turnover in the lineup with the injuries on a day-to-day basis. You really don't know who's going to be on the field and available to play every day.
Onesimo trying to take ball 4. It's in there for a strike. So 3 balls, 1 strike here. Once again, tight strike zone here to start the game, so both pitchers really have to locate. Onesimo able to hold back, and she'll take her base. Falcons have their first base runner.
If you're Trinity Howard, you're watching the top half of the first inning, and it's a great thing that your team has got you a couple of runs, but you're watching the strike zone that Hannah Rizzuto is having to deal with, and now you've got to go out and attack that same zone, and we saw tremendous discipline there from Onesimo.
Now Maddie Linhart's turn. The freshman out of Inverness tries to lay one down. Runner will get over to second base, so successful there. And Trinity Howard able to make the play at first. There's one away.
And so we talked to Coach Harrell yesterday about how she's had to change the way that Daytona State plays the game. Normally, especially in the early part of the year, you allow your kids to swing away. You want to be a free swinging team. You want to get everyone's confidence up. But with there being so many changes in the lineup, they've had to play a little bit more small ball. They've had to sacrifice more. They've had to find ways to manufacture runs. And there you see an example of that. You get the leadoff hitter Onesimo on, you're thinking maybe big inning, but here comes Linhart, someone who can handle the bat really well. You rely on her to lay down a sacrifice, and now you've got Onesimo in scoring position.
Hannah Rizzuto now trying to help her own cause in the 3-hole for the Falcons, and there's a strike. So Rizzuto comes into today with a .309 average. She's gone yard 2 times this year. She's got 11 RBIs to go with it. So this young lady, very, very talented, along with being a dependable pitcher. Now the 1-1, and that one's fouled back.
And coming off a game Tuesday in which she had the game-tying home run, hit a 2-run shot late that gave Daytona State a chance to win it in extra innings, ultimately lost by a run, but swinging a hot bat.
Got a real good-looking swing. Springstead High School, northern part of the Tampa Bay area, the Eagles, great program there. And now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hannah also playing little catcher this year. Imagine that, Austin. You're a pitcher, you're a catcher as well, and your bat is dependent on big time. She is carrying a lot on her plate. Big swing there, and it's popped up into the infield. Catcher tries to get it, but Addie Lyle cannot squeeze it, and that's a break there for Daytona State.
It's so tough at this time of day. You're looking up straight into the sun, and it plays a pretty big effect on infielders trying to look back, reach, and make that kind of play. You saw Lyle didn't quite have her feet underneath her as she tracked the ball, reaching back with that glove. Because she lost her balance, the ball popped out. She wasn't able to squeeze it.
Extremely difficult play. Oh, big swing right there, and down swinging is Rizzuto. So that's the first strikeout for Trinity Howard.
And if you're Addie Lyle, you're making sure that you're going to dab up Trinity Howard when you get back to the dugout. She did you a solid there. You drop a ball in foul territory that would have been the second out of the inning, but she is able to come through and get a K on the next swing.
Rise ball. And another strike delivered. And this is Anna Margettis. So runner in scoring position. She is the RBI machine for Daytona State. 276 average for Margettis coming into today. That one just a little bit outside.
And this situation is a good example of what Coach Harrell talked about, that the team needs to do better in the second half of the season. They need timely hitting and a timely strikeout. This is an opportunity to give your team some momentum. You get a base hit here, you're almost certainly going to score a run. If you strike out, you got the leadoff hitter on but couldn't do anything with it. So mentally, there are several opportunities in the game where if Daytona State can come through with one clutch play, it puts them in a much better chance to win. And even though it's the first inning, you feel a lot better going to the dugout down 2-1 than 2-0.
This one is hit to the shortstop. Coming up throwing, and nicely done. Brooke Thyssen makes the play, and Eastern Florida gets out of the inning. So Daytona State strands one. Good job by Trinity Howard weathering the early storm. It's 2-0 after one here at Daytona State College. Is there a better place to be than Daytona Beach, Florida? Such a beautiful site here on campus, recently hosting, of course, the annual Daytona 500. And today it is all about Daytona State softball. As the Falcons trail 2-0 to Eastern Florida, Hannah Rizzuto comes out here for inning number 2. Let's see if she can shut down this Eastern Florida lineup.
And it starts with a player who's in familiar territory. Caitlin Wilson, a sophomore who started her college career here at Daytona State, native of the Central Florida area, played high school softball at Oviedo, now finds herself a little bit more down the coast at Eastern Florida. I think important for Rizzuto to pick up this first out. Had the single and a two-base error that ultimately led to 2 runs at the start of the game. Mentally, you're able to feel a lot better. You come out here, you got the last 3 outs, a couple of sacrifice flies and a line drive right at her, showing she can field her position. Get the first out here, trying to battle back from a 3-0 count.
A little bit high to Caitlin Wilson, and she'll take her base. So 2 straight innings. The leadoff hitter is aboard for Eastern Florida. Look at Daytona State, the victories this year. Austin, they beat Florida State College of Jacksonville, Eastern Florida, Hillsborough Community College, and South Georgia State. So they've got some quality wins, but like you said, timeliness, making the play and getting that big hit at the proper time and making it all click together consistently has been the challenge.
And momentum is so important in softball, something that can carry you through a game, carry you through really a couple of weeks. And so for Daytona State, they haven't been able to get that big signature win, that signature moment in a game that carries over and helps them keep some positive vibes going for a stretch of time. And look, it is extremely difficult to win in softball when you come into the year, you think Paige Lassiter is going to be your ace. You're going to rely on her. You're going to have her as a horse that you can ride throughout the season. When you lose your number 1 pitcher and you're trying to plug people in who you didn't expect to be in the circle, that they're having to draw on their experience as pitchers, it's just extremely tough to be successful. And we're seeing Rizzuto struggling a bit with her control, and that's been an issue so far for her, something that obviously will improve the more reps she gets, but you're dealing with someone who didn't think she was going to be a pitcher.
Coach Harrell rooting on her starting pitcher, Rizzuto. Sarah Leach takes one high.
And Coach Harrell knows. She was a pitcher herself, right? Had a fantastic career at East Carolina, so she knows how difficult it is to be successful and how mentally challenging it is to step in the circle because all eyes are on you and you've got so much control over the game.
Another walk. So now runners on first and second. Once again for Eastern Florida. Again, I mentioned lots of pitchers set to go here today. Coach Harrell will make that trip into the circle, and let's see if we do have a pitching change here or just simply a meeting of the minds to sort of settle Rizzuto down here.
Yeah, I think for me, it would be really early to make a change, right? Like Rizzuto got the last 3 outs of that first inning. Runners coming in because of sacrifice flies. She walks the first couple here. I think you want to give her a chance to work through it, especially someone who's competitive as Hannah Rizzuto is.
Talked about Coach Harrell, what a playing career she had before taking the head coaching job at Daytona State. She played all over the world, played in Austria, played in the Netherlands, played in Italy. Talked about playing in the European Cup. Austin, she is as seasoned as they come, not just amongst the best in the country, but internationally.
Softball has given a lot to her, and she is giving a lot back to the game. And it looks like we may get a change. And maybe you go out there and you talk to Rizzuto, and she may have told Coach, look, Coach, I don't feel great. I don't have it. And that's, the type of unselfishness that Coach Harrell wants in her program. And so Rizzuto's going to go play in the field, and we'll get a chance to see another pitcher here in the top of the second.
So interesting move here by Daytona State. Coach Harrell, she knows her team. Rizzuto will get comfy out in the outfield. Saw a pinch runner also, Trinity Howard. The pitcher for Eastern Florida comes into the game to pinch run. And now Zoe Emerson, sophomore out of Ormond Beach, heads into the circle for the Falcons. And Austin, this is a player that not incredibly dynamic, just comes in, does her job, gives those quality innings.
Again, you want someone who's going to come in here and kind of steady the ship, someone who's going to be able to throw strikes, force Eastern Florida to have to swing the bat. We've given up 3 walks so far, and that's been an issue for Daytona State's pitching, something that Coach Harrell hopes improves as the season goes along.
Well, Halifax Health is a proud supporter of Falcon Athletics and is the official healthcare provider for the Falcons athletic program. Halifax Health, the great partnership with Daytona State Athletics when you pull in to Daytona State. Of course, coming from the side, like I always like to come, see the hospital here, so close to campus, and such a valuable asset for everybody on campus here at Daytona State. As Zoe Emerson gets the ball here, the Seabreeze High School product will try and shut down this Eastern Florida lineup. Runner goes to third, throw over there, and she is in safe.
A risky play there by Trinity Howard. Riley Keefe just needed a little bit more on that throw, and if she had it, I think they would have had a chance to get Howard.
So this is Addie Lyle swinging it for the Titans. Trey Howard standing on third base. Also runner on second base for Eastern Florida as well. And this one's driven into right field. It's going to be a tough play. Up against the fence. Brennan goes back to get it. 2 runs going to come on in to score. So Addie Lyle gets it done. That is a 2 RBI double, and the Titans double their lead.
Great piece of hitting there by Lyle. Made contact and really drove that ball to the opposite field. No chance for Rizzuto. She's moved to right and watched that ball sail over her head right up against the fence. So a lot of power in the bottom of the lineup there. That's the number 8 hitter for Eastern Florida that just went opposite field and nearly took it out of here.
So the Titans have really come out swinging. And now Courtney Stout, the freshman from Bradenton, comes up to bat. just a little bit low. Good job laying off it. Also could possibly see today in the circle for Daytona State, Kayla McKean. But remember, it's a doubleheader, so Coach Harrell would like to preserve some of that pitching as well. You also have a big series coming up this weekend as Daytona State will host South Georgia State.
Really, at this point for Daytona State, everything is kind of geared toward getting the team in as good a position as it can be going into conference play. We talked to Kelly Harrell about how they had kind of a mid-season meeting. They reset some of their goals, talked about what they wanted to accomplish for the rest of the season. The hope is to try to string some wins together. They've had wins here and there. You mentioned some of the programs that they've beaten, but trying to get back-to-back wins. When you get two, then can we get to three? And then can we start to string some wins together and have long streaks and boost the confidence of some of these kids? Because confidence is so important in this sport.
Stout makes contact. This is up the middle for another base hit. Well, the Titans are pouring it on here in the early innings. Addie Lyle able to score. And now it's 5-0. So everybody's swinging the bat well. Courtney Stout getting it done that time. Austin, they are just timing things up right now. And they are just making great contact on Falcons pitching.
And the walks have been a big part of the story so far, right? 5 runs for Eastern Florida. 3 of those runs reached base with a walk. And now the bottom of the lineup really producing for Coach Pettick, who has to be thrilled. I mean, when 8 and 9 are producing RBI hits, and now it turns over and Damone gets a chance to bat with someone on base at the top of the lineup, this Eastern Florida team can just put tremendous pressure on opponents.
So the Titans already through the lineup. This one misses low and outside. Runner's running freely right now for Eastern Florida. Sliding in. That is a pretty good looking slide right there. That is what you like to do.
That's pretty much been automatic. I mean, we've seen a lot of first and third situations, which if you're new to softball, virtually a guarantee when you have first and third that the runner from first is going to break for second. And you don't often see teams throw at that runner because you're going to allow the runner from third to come home.
This is sliced into left field, another base hit. Fielding it out there is Rodriguez. Runner comes in to score, and Eastern Florida with now a 6-0 lead.
It's a good job by Rodriguez cutting it off. Didn't let the ball get by her, but the speed of Damone, we talked about it when she led off the game and had that single that ultimately led to her being on third base after the ball was bobbled in the outfield. There's just so much pressure.
And this is forcing Coach Harrell to consistently make changes. Sarah Pollock, who I talked about, could see some time in the circle. She was dynamic earlier this week. Really impressed Coach Harrell with what she was able to do in a losing effort, but still, she was pounding the zone, hitting her spots. And now let's see if Sarah can keep that rolling here right now.
The approach for Coach Pettick's team so far has been tremendous. They are laying off the pitches that they shouldn't swing at, and the balls that are in the zone, they are driving, and they're making excellent contact. And now, Coach Harrell's already smaller pitching staff is really being tested here. We're on our third pitcher and no one out in the second inning.
So adjustments being made on both sides. Third pitcher already for Daytona State. Possibly could see Kayla McKean as well, the sophomore and Clay High School product out of Middleburg. But when you're constantly shuffling pitchers in the sport of softball, Austin, you've covered this sport a long time, I have as well. And that's usually not the best sign when that is happening consistently.
Yeah, no. Look, pitching is extremely difficult, whether it's baseball or softball. The consistency required to be able to put the ball where you want it to be is just at a level that so many people can't possibly comprehend. The repetition that you need in order to be successful as a pitcher is something that you can't replicate, and there's no replacing reps. That's the tough situation for Coach Harrell right now. She can't give these players more opportunities in practice, more opportunities in a game, because here we are. We're in the middle of the season, right? And so you feel for these young women who are trying their best, and Eastern Florida right now has really brought it.
So the game belongs to Sarah Pollock right now. Daytona State in a big-time hole here. They trail by a half dozen, and we're just in the second inning. Pollock, a sophomore from Suncoast High School out of Palm Beach. And Palm Beach Gardens to be exact. Ball gets away once more. Riley O'Keefe a little late squeezing it. And now a runner on third base.
And you can see the varying levels of confidence of both teams with plays like that. That pitch from Pollock just a little bit off. Keefe couldn't quite squeeze it, and immediately there's no hesitation with Damone breaking for third base, and Keefe just doesn't have enough time to be able to get up and make the throw.
Molly Reed at the plate for Eastern Florida. Daytona State needs an out big time. Hard to believe there are no outs so far. There's a nice pitch.
A couple of good off-speed deliveries there from Pollock, who, as you mentioned, Kelly Harrell raved about how well she threw her last time out.
Oh, how about that changeup? Pulled the string and a strikeout. Maybe that will get this Falcon team going.
A tremendous pitch there from Pollock, and you can see her cracking a smile. Nice to see that on the face of a Daytona State player after the start of this game.
See the Daytona State team. Now once again the cleanup batter, Mackenzie 4. And all of a sudden Sarah Pollock starting to pound that zone once again. Just a little bit low.
Pollock's been really sharp so far, and you see the difference when a pitcher can be around the strike zone. We saw both Rizzuto and Emerson struggle a bit with their control. Pollock is spot on thus far.
In the dirt this time. Good dig by Riley Keefe. 2 balls, 1 strike here.
Challenging situation defensively because it's Damone on third. Pretty much any ball put in play is going to lead to a run.
Ball gets away again, and right now Riley Keefe is digging a few too many out of the dirt between the 3 pitchers that she has caught for. Daytona State.
A freshman definitely being tested right now.
Oh, for sure. It's now 3-1. It's a tough situation because you don't want to let Mackenzie 4 go yard here. Cannot give her one right up her alley. This is hit to the third baseman. Play at the plate, and beautifully done by Daytona State. Riley Keefe able to tag the runner, and there's 2 away.
There was some hesitation from Damone. I mean, the ball was hit really hard to Maddie Linhart, who is exceptional at third base. Coach Harrell raved about how well she has played and shut down the small ball that opposing teams have tried to play. And Linhart, with no hesitation there, Damone didn't break on contact. Linhart comes home, throw right on the money to Keefe, who applies the tag, and a big second out.
Thyssen with a swing. Should have a force play at second, but again the ball gets away. McQuain can't squeeze it. Check back the runner at second. She is safe. That was a tough play to make for McQuain, who was going to her right, Austin.
And McQuain, you can see kind of patting herself on the chest there, knows that she could have made that play, and given how tough things have been so far for Daytona State, that would have been, I think, a little emotional lift. I mean, they make the great defensive play to get Damone at the plate. If you could get out of the inning there with what would have been a good defensive play, now you've got to deal with 2 runners on.
Grace Holland, the hitter. 2 outs here. Daytona State trying to get back to the dugout and still stay within some kind of striking range. Cannot afford any more damage at the hands of these Eastern Florida bats. Nice pitch by Pollock again. Changeup is working right now. It's fouled away. And 2 strikes is the count to Holland.
Holland, the 9th hitter of the inning for Eastern Florida. Started with a couple of walks and then consecutive hits by Lyle, Stout, Damone. Up and down the lineup, Eastern Florida really swinging the bat well.
Big swing right there. Got to get the force at first, though, as the ball was not squeezed by the catcher. And Margettis able to make the squeeze at first. So Daytona State will have a chance to chip into this lead, but it is sizable. 6-0 Eastern Florida at the end of 1.5. Welcome back, everybody. Daytona State softball so happy to have the young lady at the plate back in the lineup. Mariana Rodriguez takes a big swing, but right there to make the grab. Brooke Thyssen, and what a play it was for the first out.
Rodriguez back in the lineup after missing the last several games. You know she was so anxious to swing the bat. She goes after the first pitch, and Thyssen makes a tremendous diving catch out there at short.
Sarah Leach also in the field for Eastern Florida, and there's a strike delivered as Daisy McQuain steps in for Daytona State.
McQuain all-conference a year ago, played so well. Unique combination of power and speed. Confidence is not quite there. Timing just a little bit off this season, but if it can be refined here in the next couple of weeks, McQuain could be a force once Daytona State gets into conference action.
Yeah, remember her home run power that we saw a season ago, Austin. Sophomore out of Lutz. Get a look there at Trinity Howard in the circle for Eastern Florida, but McQuain, one of those players where that light switch comes on, look out, because she has got all the talent in the world, just kind of going through a little bit of a funk right now. And you can see from that swing, the way she just pulled that ball, she has got what it takes.
And no doubt about her talent. Just a question of putting it all together, and confidence is a theme that we have talked about so far in the broadcast, and it's been lacking a little bit for McQuain. Another player who needs, a couple of hits just to get herself going, get her mind right, and believe that when she steps up there to the plate, she's going to make great contact.
Game is so mental, isn't it?
Such a challenge.
A 1-2 pitch. This one's high. McQuain with a good eye. Even to 2-2. You
can see rehearsing her trying to keep the bat inside. Doesn't want to get too far away from her body with those hands.
Now 3 balls, 2 strikes. Sarah Pollock is on deck for Daytona State, followed by Peyton Brennan. Falcons trying to get base runners here with one out in the second. 6-0 lead for Eastern Florida, their arch rival. 3-2 to McQuain. Another good-looking swing. This one is popped to the right side and just out of play.
Good two-strike approach there from McQuain. In the zone, got a swing. Late hack, able to get enough of it to foul it off.
Good battle we're watching here. Howard against McQuain, and McQuain with ball 4. And she is excited as she heads down to first base.
A 4th walk she's drawn this year against 10 strikeouts. That'll help her on-base percentage, and certainly that's what Daytona State needs. You're going to come back, you need base runners. Not all of them are going to be hits. You're going to need some help from Eastern Florida. Howard out of the zone, and McQuain wisely lays off.
Now here's Sarah Pollock. Pollock takes a swing on the first pitch. This one popped up to the left fielder, and Molly Reed comes in to make the grab. There's 2 away. So Pollock was in the starting lineup as the designated player today. She's, of course, pitching right now, and McQuain has to stay put on first. So now time for Peyton Brennan. She is from the furthest part north on the team, Hortonville, Wisconsin. Runner goes to second, and McQuain is in safely.
McQuain yet to be caught stealing this year, 5 for 5. An example of that speed that we talked about. And look, it feels like a big deficit, right? 6-0, but you've got to start somewhere. So can Brennan come through with a 2-out hit to get a run on the board?
Nice pitch there on the inside part of the plate for strike 1. Mentioned Brennan from Wisconsin. Also Lexi Apodaca from the state of Colorado. Talked to Coach Harrell. Takes great pride in the fact that softball athletes coming to Daytona State from all over the country, not just the Sunshine State.
Yeah, no doubt, it's a diverse roster. Also got Mariana Rodriguez from Mexico City, outside of the United States. Great to see so many portions of the U.S., different cultures represented on this roster.
This one is hit into left field. It'll drop for a base hit. The first run will come in for the Falcons. Daisy McQuain across the plate. And that is a big lift for Daytona State. And well done, executed perfectly from Peyton Brennan.
Yeah, with 2 strikes, Brennan able to lock in and find a pitch that she liked from Trinity Howard. Just the 4th run driven in this year for sophomore Peyton Brennan. And perhaps that'll be the start of a rally here for Daytona State.
Now it's Leighton Strickland's turn. Bottom of the order here for the Falcons.
We saw 8 and 9 produce for Eastern Florida. A couple of RBIs from the bottom of the lineup for the Titans. Daytona State trying to counter.
One strike here to Leighton Strickland. And this one just misses high. And Austin, these are the players we just love to cover. Leighton Strickland comes into the program, just not a starter at first, has to wait her turn, keeps trying, never gives up, and finally finds a spot in the lineup.
It's a great lesson. Strickland primarily a pinch runner at the start of the season, but was given some opportunities in the lineup by Coach Harrell, made the most of them, performed well, and now she finds herself in a starting role. And it's something that all athletes need to remember. You have to be ready when your name is called.
Change up there, tough to get around on. Nice pitch by Trinity Howard as she gets Eastern Florida back to the dugout. So Daytona State does have something to build on. They get a run. They trail, though, by 5, 6-1 after 2 here in Daytona. Yeah, incredible things are happening on campus here at Daytona State College, and you will witness that if you come out to an athletic contest. We hope you make it out here someday. Right now, the score 6-1 Eastern Florida over Daytona State. Drew Felios, thrilled to be alongside Austin Lyon and our tremendous television crew in the studio and out on the field. And for Daytona State, the third pitcher of the game, Sarah Pollock, battling right now, trying to keep the Falcons in it. Eastern Florida, they came out swinging a really, really mean bat, and Pollock has done a pretty good job so far, Austin, kind of dousing those flames.
6 runs, 4 hits so far, 3 walks have helped the cause for Eastern Florida. But Pollock came in, inherited a tough situation, struck out 2 of the 4 hitters she's faced. Only player to reach base did so as a result of an error. So Pollock has come in and really steadied things for Daytona State.
Strike delivered. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Eastern Florida just 3 victories on this young season, as Ariana Gonzalez is the batter. Daytona State with just 1 better, 4. So the best softball certainly ahead of both of these teams. But Eastern Florida does not want to wait. They want to make a statement here today. 1-2. Way outside that time. Evens the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And Pollock wasting 1 there, trying to see if she could get Wilson to give it a chase. And again, Wilson started her college career here at Daytona State. You know, those pitches are out of the zone, but it looks to me, at least based on where Keefe is setting up, that Pollock is hitting her spots, which is exactly what you want if you're Kelly Harrell. Now this creates a pressure-packed pitch at 3-2 after taking a couple of chances away.
Caitlin Wilson gets around on it, but it is in the mitt for strike 3. So the payoff pitch works for Sarah Pollock, and there's 1 away.
And when you're confident as a pitcher that you're going to hit your spot, you don't mind going to a full count. And so Pollock was right on the money through the pitch that she wanted, and it was right where Keefe's glove was set up.
See the Falcons defense react when it looked like a bunt was about to be had for Sarah Leach. Second time through the order here for Eastern Florida. Leach had a real good piece of hitting her first time up.
Now, Linhart down there at third base has been a rock defensively for Daytona State. Really has shut down opposing teams that have tried to test her at third, play small ball. And Linhart just kind of creeping up a couple of steps in case Leach tries to lay it down again.
Leach barely gets a piece. Sophomore out of Winter Garden, West Orange High School represented.
A tremendous program, West Orange, a winner of multiple state championships, program that's sent players to the SEC, the ACC. Think about Lauren Mathis, who had an outstanding career at West Orange.
Now 2-1 the count. Pollock took just a little bit off. And again, a very tight strike zone. A lot of umpires, Austin, are going to ring you up on that call.
A lot of precision required so far from all the pitchers we've seen.
And ball 4.
Well, Pollock not missing by much. Second straight walk drawn by Leach.
Of course, players will deal with that as long as, of course, they know that it's consistent on both sides, which it has been.
No doubt, no doubt. If you're a coach or a pitcher, all you can ask for from an umpire is a consistent zone, whether it's wide, whether it's tight. You just want it to be called the same on both sides, and certainly so far it has been.
Addie Lyle pops this one up to the outfield and squeezed out there for out number 2. So good job by Mariana Rodriguez in left field. And that should bring up Courtney Stout here for Eastern Florida.
Stout out of Braden River, just south of the Tampa area. Another outstanding program. You look up and down the rosters of these two teams, and you will find a ton of softball programs that year in and year out in the state of Florida are competing for and winning state championships.
You know, club softball and high school softball, it's not always the best mix, but the reality is one hand helps the other hand. And the way this sport has grown all over the country, so many young ladies continuing to want to play this game and be great because of the exposure it has gotten on the college and the Olympic level.
And lots of people want to watch it, too. You know, I mean, you look back to last year, the Women's College World Series had more viewers than the College World Series. That gives you an example of just how popular the game of softball has become, and it's continuing to grow.
0 balls, 2 strikes. Here, 2 down. This ball put in play, and it's hit to the center fielder. Marching in is Strickland to make the catch, and that will do it for Eastern Florida in the 3rd. So, Daytona State keeps the Titans off the board for the first time in an inning. Still got 5 runs to make up. Bottom of the 3rd, here we come when we come back. Welcome back to Daytona State College. Drew Felios, Austin Lyon. Here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Eastern Florida with a 6-1 lead. Daytona State, bit of a slow start, but starting to get a little bit of momentum on their side as they continue to try and get to Trinity Holland in the circle for the Titans as the first pitch delivered, ball 1.
Second time through the lineup now for Daytona State. We'll see what, if any, adjustments are made. Adriana Onesimo started the game with a leadoff walk. So obviously she was seeing the ball well out of Howard's hand. But you've got to chip away. The likelihood of getting 5-6 runs in one inning and either tying things up or taking the lead is pretty low. It's going to have to be 1, 2, maybe 3 runs at a time. So you've got to have that mindset. It's one pitch at a time, and that sounds like a cliche, but it's something that coaches go up there and tell their players. You've got to have the right approach. You can't get it all back in one swing and one at-bat.
Onesimo, tremendous all-around player for Daytona State. She locks in. She is tremendous on the line drive, as that one is a strike. Looked like a little bit inside that time, but we'll keep her at the plate. Ball 4. So Onesimo does her job. She is aboard here for Daytona State in the 3rd. So Onesimo out of the St. Pete area in the Tampa Bay area, St. Pete High School. You mentioned, Austin, the great tournaments and competition at the collegiate level and how college softball in a lot of ways is the same level of popularity. Linhart lays it down, and she'll be taken care of at first base. Runner advances to second, but it's funny because St. Pete Clearwater area, they hosted a big softball tournament this past weekend. I flick it on ESPN, and who's calling the game but our former colleague, Tiffany Green.
Yeah.
On ESPN. Great stuff.
Great to hear Tiff's voice, and amazing. I think that tournament is an example of how much the sport has grown. Sunday night, ESPN, prime time is the showcase game for that event. You had Florida State playing in that event, the finale. So many great softball programs, top 25 programs from around the country coming to the Sunshine State.
Trinity Howard dealing, and this one is a strike. So 1 ball, 1 strike. We could very well see some of these young ladies playing in one of those games one day. That is what this level is designed for. Every player, like Hannah Rizzuto, has a story, fine-tuning those skills and trying to eventually one day sign a big-time scholarship. That is another beautiful pitch for a strike.
Like the big difference as you watch this game as a viewer, we have not seen the home plate umpire be generous with anything on the outside of the plate, but anything on the inner half has definitely been generous to the pitcher.
Oh, runner goes, and another very, very risky steal, but it is money for Onesimo and the Falcons.
Really heads-up base running there by Onesimo. You saw Lyle was just a bit lackadaisical as she got up and looked back toward the circle. Onesimo spotted it and didn't hesitate.
Another ball inside. This one misses. And all of a sudden, things getting a little more difficult for Trinity Howard in the circle. Daytona State's got some big hitters coming up here. Let's see what Rizzuto can do. Rizzuto hits it hard, and this one just foul.
Onesimo had to scamper to get out of the way of that ball as it was scorching up the third base line.
Anna Margettis, the RBI machine, is on deck, Austin, so that is why it's so important for Rizzuto to get on base here, and she will do just that. So all of a sudden, one swing of the bat can make this just a 2-run game.
A big opportunity for Margettis and just 1 out in the inning. Only out has been essentially given up by Daytona State. Linhart sacrificing. And so small ball now gives Daytona State a chance for potentially a big inning. And you've got the heart of the order right now with Margettis. Rodriguez made great contact, the only pitch she saw from Trinity Howard. A big opportunity for the Falcons.
So important for Sarah Pollock to come in the game for Daytona State, do what she did, kind of halt the offensive momentum for Eastern Florida, because right now Daytona State has got that, and a big opportunity here with Margettis.
Positive things starting to happen for Daytona State, and it's contagious.
Margettis watches one high. Anna Margettis, very consistent. Doesn't really hit for average, but works extremely hard. She's the leader of this team, leads by example, and obviously tremendous power.
And you'd expect with first and third 1 out that Rizzuto would be on the move. Only 1 steal this year. We mentioned she's recovering from a torn ACL in her right knee, still a brace on that knee. But with first and third, I would be surprised if Rizzuto wouldn't go in at some point in this at-bat, and there it is.
Throw down to second base. Oh, what a play there. Thyssen came out to snatch it out of the air, and I think maybe that was a design play, Austin, to cut it off and then get the runner at home.
It almost looked to me like Rizzuto was baiting the throw, like she slowed down a little bit to try to entice Lyle to take a chance at the out and potentially give Onesimo a chance to score, but Onesimo stays put.
Trinity Howard trying to get it together here for Eastern Florida. This is a little dribbler right back to her, and no threat, as Howard will take care of it, and that is a very big out.
A tough Anna Margettis. It's jammed a little bit, and that was one of the few spots on the field where you could put the ball in play and not get a run home. That ball right back to the pitcher. And so now it's up to Rodriguez with 2 outs.
Mariana Rodriguez, sophomore out of Mexico City, as Austin mentioned. Squares around, ball called a strike. It's been an adjustment for her to come all the way here to Daytona Beach and just be so far away from home. Mariana loves her home country, of course, her home city, Mexico City, and you're always going to miss your family. Austin, that home cooking, but great to see her here wearing a Falcons uniform.
A good start to her college career in Texas. Comes to Daytona State, missed the last 6 games. She was injured on a collision going for a ball, been in the concussion protocol. Kelly Harrell was hoping that they would get her back today. She gets cleared in the lineup and in a big spot right here for her team.
Just a little bit low. And it's funny, if you're Rodriguez, you were playing the infield there, you come back into the lineup, and now you're playing the outfield. A little less chance of that occurring.
Another example of why the lack of continuity because of all the injuries has led to some shuffling in the lineup.
Well, right now, Howard working the inside part of that play. You can sense she knows that has been the sweet spot.
So now with 2 strikes, you've got to shorten up and be aware that anything near the plate, Rodriguez has got to swing at.
2-2 and 2 outs. Rodriguez stays alive. Couple of runs here would be huge for Daytona State. Absolutely thrilled to have you with us on WDSC TV. Drew Felios with Austin Lyon. Once again, our great crew behind the scenes making this broadcast happen. This is a rarity in NJCAA athletics to have a production of this level, Austin, and so cool to be a part of it year after year.
A tremendous crew and some of the students here at Daytona State getting to shadow and learn about what it takes to be part of these productions.
Certainly not easy work, is it? Definitely a lot more difficult than people think. But it's fun. You and
I are in the glamour. We get the glamour jobs, the front-facing jobs. Not everybody just gets to just sit here and talk about softball. The real work is done out there in the field.
Oh, without question. Trinity Howard doing some work here. Full count just inside. Make that full count now. 3-2 was 2-2 there. And interesting here, if Rodriguez gets aboard, loads the bases, that's going to really make things interesting. Daisy McQuain would be the hitter on deck. She was on base her last time up, scored the only run. This is driven, right center field, it's in the gap. A run is in, make that 2. Heading to third base is Rodriguez, and Daytona State is right back into this game.
Coach Harrell's talked about her team needing to come through with a clutch hit, and right there, Rodriguez does it. Full count, she battles to make it a full count, gets a ball on the outer half of the plate, and absolutely drives it. Great piece of hitting. Stout and Damone ultimately run into each other in the outfield. That collision allows Rodriguez to end up at third base.
That brings up Daisy McQuain now. The sophomore out of Lutz. Again, she scored that only run for Daytona State, so see, she's got the dirty uniform, hoping to get aboard again. This team, Austin, such a great group of kids. Coach Kelly Harrell emphasized that. But the one thing maybe they lack just a little bit, Coach says, I hope they just have a little bit more grit. And I think right now you're starting to see that competitive juice starting to flow.
As she said, the mentality and the hunger to win is there. There's no question about that. But how do you perform? How do you persevere when things aren't going your way? That's the ultimate test as an athlete, really as any person. And so this team, with all the injuries that they've sustained, players having to switch positions, be in new roles, it's been a big challenge this year. And down 6-1 in this game, they are showing that there's certainly no quit.
Daisy McQueen in a bit of a slump coming into today, hoping to break that. And oh, what a great time to break it here on WDSC TV in front of the cameras. As that one is just low, and McQueen did everything she could to hold back and was successful doing it.
Some of those pitches that are on the inner half of the plate are really tied up the Daytona State hitters. But now McQueen with 3-1 should get something that she can drive.
There it is, right side, over the head of the right fielder, Courtney Stout. McQueen making the turn. A run is in. She'll head to third, and the Falcons' rally continues. Fly, Falcons, fly. Right now, Austin, they are soaring.
Well, you love the approach and the work at the plate by Rodriguez and McQueen, the last two hitters. McQueen was able to lay off the pitches inside, got the pitch she wanted, and didn't wait on it. That was tremendous contact. Back-to-back opposite field hits for Rodriguez and McQueen. And Daytona State has now scored the last 4 runs in the game.
Trinity Howard feeling it right now. Trying to silence these Daytona State bats. And how about McQueen? We saw her in that first at-bat. It wasn't graceful, Austin, but she battled, gained a little confidence, seeing the ball better now because she's seen so many pitches, and then bam, a big blow right there.
And McQueen's average slowly starting to creep up. And from the 6th spot in the lineup, gives you an example of how talented this roster is. You put McQueen down there in the 6th hole, and she comes through in a big way when her team needed it most.
Now Sarah Pollock's turn. It's been a long inning here for Daytona State. They have made Trinity Howard throw a lot of pitches.
And Pollock, the 7th batter of the inning.
Driven to left field. Should be under it. Molly Reed makes the grab for the Titans. And finally, Daytona State, the bats silence, but not before they pick up 3 big runs. Falcons are right back in it, folks. It's 6-4 as we head to the 4th here in Daytona Beach. Six to 4 your score. Drew Felios with Austin Lyon. Eastern Florida coming up in the top of the 4th. Great to have you with us on WDSC TV. Chance to enjoy some women's collegiate softball here. Sarah Pollock getting it done for Daytona State. Eastern Florida needs to establish some momentum. Right now it has been sucked out of it as Damone lines it right to Margettis, and a quick first out made. And Austin, you made a great point earlier about popularity of this sport. You know, just imagine if there is no Major League Baseball season. A lot of the fans that love this game, they're going to be watching softball even more, and collegiate baseball for that matter as well.
Yeah, no doubt. College baseball and college softball certainly stand to benefit greatly if in fact that happens. And I think unfortunately, there was a great tour that was planned in preparation to the Olympics. You know, the the USA team was going to go around the country. They were going to play in a lot of college cities where softball was popular in an effort to really build up momentum going into the Olympics. That tour was ultimately cut short as a result of COVID. So you didn't have as much momentum coming out of the Olympics as you normally would have that softball can create. But college softball continues to carry the banner and more popular each and every season. And the stories and the talent that comes out of those programs is great. And, you know, the television has helped tremendously with the popularity of softball. You know, you see games now on ESPN, sometimes ABC. These are nationally televised games, and these young women are getting the exposure that they deserve.
Yeah, without question. So this is Kayla Damone here for Eastern Florida. Gets a good swing on it. Hits to right field in that shade. Tough spot out there. But Peyton Brennan up to the task. Took a couple steps back. Made the catch. There's one away.
And if you're thinking at home, well, they just got Damone out twice. Well, it looked like it was going to be an out, but the umpires ruled that the ball was in foul territory. So Damone, essentially with a strike, came back into the box and ultimately pops out to Brennan. Big first out for Daytona State. First time they've retired Damone today. And if you want to keep the momentum going, a 3-up, 3-down here from Pollock would be huge.
Here's Molly Reed, sophomore out of Tampa, former Sickles Griffin. They have got a great program there in North Tampa. About the same area that I grew up in. Sickles, when I was in high school, Austin, did not exist. A lot of schools did not exist. You know how that goes.
A tremendous amount of growth in the Tampa Bay area, still growing. Same here in Central Florida.
More people means more high schools needed. It's incredible, all the brand new high schools. And of course, you drive by some of these schools and they've got things that you wish you had when you were using that old locker room in school.
And COVID has been a big factor in people relocating to Florida. There's been some great reporting done recently about how when a number of people were allowed to work remotely, they decided, well, I'm not going to stay up north where I can't go outside. I'm going to move to Florida where real estate is cheaper and the weather is fantastic.
2-2 pitch. Pollock got it working right now. Hanging in there. It's Molly Reed.
So it should come as no surprise, right, that Apodaca wants to come to Daytona State from Colorado or from Wisconsin. You want to go somewhere where you can play softball year-round.
Not tough to recruit, especially with these facilities, this weather here at Daytona State. 2-2 pitch to Molly Reed. Outside, and that has been a ball all day long. So 3-2. Pollock has done the job here today. Can she keep it going?
Had 3 strikeouts in 16 2/3 innings coming in to today. She's got 3 strikeouts so far today.
Oh, how about that pitch, Austin? Outside part of the plate, made her chase, and there's 2 away.
Now 4 Ks for Pollock. The off-speed pitch has been great. 3-ball, 2-strike count. You know Reed is going to be aggressive. You have to be with 2 strikes way out in front of that changeup.
So Mackenzie Ford steps in now, the freshman out of Oviedo. He's got big-time power. We have not seen that yet today. Linhart making the play at third. And there's another inning. Eastern Florida with a goose egg on the board. The defense for Daytona State and the pitching of Sarah Pollock getting it done. It's a 6-4 game here in Daytona Beach. Well, Halifax Health is a proud supporter of the Falcon Athletics program and the official healthcare provider for Daytona State Athletics. Halifax Health, great partnership with Daytona State. Oh, it has been absolutely fabulous for this college, for Halifax Health as well. And Daytona State, tell you what, it's incredible the way they have battled back. Remember, they trailed 5-0, 6-0, and eventually getting a run on the board. Austin, they've scored 4 in a row, getting it done defensively, and now Peyton Brennan to lead things off here in the bottom of the fourth.
It started with Sarah Pollock. You know, she came in and inherited a tough spot. She's now set down 5 in a row, limited the damage in the second inning, hadn't given up a run in the third or the fourth, and then the Daytona State bats start to come to life. A couple of walks in that last inning, the double by Rodriguez, the triple by Daisy McQuain, and they're putting a lot of pressure now on Trinity Howard.
Oh, big pitch right there. That changeup has been magic all day for Trinity Howard, and that is the most lethal pitch in the sport of softball.
A third strikeout for Howard. It's the challenge for hitters is when you get to 2 strikes, your thought process changes. You know, you start the at-bat, you want to be patient, you want to see the ball come out of the pitcher's hand, and you can let the ball travel a lot further. When you've got 2 strikes, your mindset changes to want to be much more aggressive.
Leighton Strickland, she's safe there. Well, Sarah Leith tried to just lob it over Austin. I'm not so sure that was a good idea.
Underestimated the speed of Strickland, number 9 hitter in the lineup, and that's a great example of how you hustle out every ball. Would have been easy for Strickland to hang her head, jog a little bit, not go as fast as she can, but because she ran so hard and Leach decided to toss it rather than throw, she's safe, and now the lineup turns over.
Wouldn't it be something if Daytona State makes Eastern Florida pay for that and they can somehow get Strickland to the plate here? Top of the order, Onesimo. Once again, 3rd time up for the Falcons, takes the ball. Adriana, 311 average coming into this game today. Looking to improve on that. And a strike delivered. Take a look at some of the fans, Austin, at this game, just behind the backstop there. So fun to come watch Daytona State athletics if you live in the area. Great sports to come attend. This has popped up again. A tough spot. It drops like a hand grenade. Right there in the shallow part of the outfield. Molly Reed was on the run and she just couldn't get to it. There's 2 runners on for the Falcons.
A tough spot there, right in the middle of that triangle of Reed, Damone, and Thyssen. And super athletic. The outfielders for Eastern Florida had to be put in the exact spot.
Linhart, a big swing. Addie Lyle. Looked like the ball was going to head out of play that time, and it came back in after going against the net.
Well, this is the first time in the game that Linhart is being given the opportunity to swing the bat. The first 2 times she came up, Onesimo was the leadoff hitter in the inning. She reached, so Linhart sacrificed her over. But now with 2 men on and 1 out in the inning, Linhart has a chance to be aggressive.
Maddie Linhart, known for her defense. Tremendous glove, strong arm. 258 average, does have some power. She's gone yard twice this season. That one is low. Talking about the crowds here at the games. You got basketball, you got softball, you got baseball. Come out and watch volleyball. Always well played here on campus. And this one delivered low again. So Trinity Howard right now starting to struggle just a little bit finding that zone. And the Falcons have a golden opportunity to capitalize. With one swing of the bat here, they could have the lead.
And the consistency is so important for pitching, right? We saw the first two pitchers in the game for Daytona State struggle a bit with their control, and the result was a lot of runs scored by Eastern Florida. Now the script has flipped, and it's Howard that's struggling to find the zone.
And Austin, how did this rally start? With Sarah Leach, the little underhand toss. It's amazing. It is truly a game of inches. One little mistake can lead to so much more.
And those are the things that haven't been happening for Daytona State yet this season, right? We talked to Coach Kelly Harrell, and it's been a timely hit, a timely strikeout. Well, so far today, we've had big two-out hits from Rodriguez and McQuain, and the hustle from Strickland to potentially start a rally here in the home half of the fourth.
Hannah Rizzuto, can she get it done here for Daytona State? 11 RBIs for her. Coming into this game, that's a great rise ball from Trinity Howard. Biggest at-bat of the game, I think, on either side right here. Another big pitch to Rizzuto. 2 strikes just like that.
Swing from Hannah Rizzuto just a little bit long right now. She'll have to shorten that up here with 2 strikes. Goal now is to put the ball in play and have a productive out. Put the ball in play and drive in a run.
Oh, froze her that time. Right at the knees. Coming with the heat. Trinity Howard at the perfect time, able to get the strikeout.
Best pitch of the at-bat there for Rizzuto. That was right down the middle, and she just couldn't pull the bat into the zone. And now can Anna Margettis be the player for Daytona State that delivers that timely hit that Coach Harrell's looking for?
Margettis, the RBI leader. 18 of them coming into this game. That one on the inside part of the plate. Lays off it.
Margettis, such a well-rounded young woman. Found her the Interact Club at Cypress Creek High and Wesley Chapel, a group that organized service projects.
Able to put this one in play. They're going to go for the sure out at first. Good decision. So Eastern Florida avoids disaster. Daytona State strands 3. A golden opportunity for the Falcons goes awry, and they still trail 6-4 after 4.
At the end of the 4th inning, Titans 6, Falcons 4.
6-4 your score. Eastern Florida leads Daytona State. So happy you are here. Drew Felios, Austin Lyon, WDSC TV, and also YouTube, bringing you Daytona State Athletics. 2 of the more established, well-known NJCAA powers in the state of Florida. Daytona State in the field. Eastern Florida up at the plate. This is a little dribbler. That's going to be a really tough play. And that is how you get it done in this sport. Brooke Thyssen able to make contact and just no play there at first.
First hit of the game allowed by Sarah Pollock. That's how good she's been since coming in with no one out in the second inning. You don't often see cleanup hitters in the lineup that have the speed of Brooke Thyssen, but able to leg out an infield single, and now she's certainly a threat to steal with 8 stolen bases this year as Holland shows bunt.
So this Eastern Florida offense, they've been quiet for the last few innings. You can sense that dugout starting to wake up just a little bit.
Second time through here, looking at Pollock, everyone seeing her for the second time. And the more you see a pitcher, the more comfortable you become as a hitter, the more you start to recognize what she's going to do.
Throw to second base. Too much speed there from Thyssen. Boy, she can really burn it up.
Interesting. Holland had an eye on Thyssen, and that was a very buntable pitch that she just got. Would have been pretty easy for her to drop it down. She recognized that Thyssen had the bag stolen, and so she decided to let it go. And now potentially a chance to sacrifice her to third.
Oh, change-up time. Sarah Pollock pulls the string for the first out. Austin, that is what you call the Bugs Bunny pitch.
Amazing that Pollock doesn't have more strikeouts coming into today. 16 2/3. She had 3 Ks, Drew. She's got 5 in this outing alone. That changeup has been magical.
Well, there are certain moments in an athlete's life that really turn things around. This could be it for Pollock as Caitlin Wilson steps in once again for Eastern Florida. Of course, she's already been a great player. That's why she's here on campus, but she hasn't really maybe solidified her spot in that pitching lineup and been a dependable force for Kelly Harrell. I think after the last 2 outings now, Coach Harrell's going to say, okay, Sarah, if you're not my first option, you're the second for sure. Hit to the third baseman. Nice play made by Linhart. They go right back to her. There's 2 outs. Runner advances to third.
And Pollock erasing the memories of an awful start the first time she pitched against Eastern Florida. She started the first game of the doubleheader back on February 3rd. Didn't make it out of the first inning. In fact, didn't record an out. She gave up 4 runs, 4 hits in a 7-1 loss. But it has been completely different here this afternoon.
Sarah Leach's turn now. Another dangerous player if she can get on for Eastern Florida. How about that pitch? Nice and low. Had some bite on it. Strike 2. Six to 4 your score. Top of the 5th inning. Titans trying to squeeze another run out of Daytona State. Will they get it here? Linhart. Oh, the ball goes awry. Another run's going to come in. Tough break for the Falcons. It's 7-4. Daytona State just a throw away from getting out of the inning, Austin, and the ball just simply got away.
Linhart fields it cleanly, and as we've talked about throughout the game, she has been a rock at third base. A couple of uncharacteristic errors on Tuesday in Daytona State's last game. She was so anxious to atone for those mistakes, and she's had a couple of balls hit her way, been really solid thus far. That throw just a little bit off target. Margettis unable to come off the bag and make the catch, and the error leads to a run.
So 2 outs, Addie Lyle at the plate now for Eastern Florida. That is a tough break for Sarah Pollock. She was throwing a gem. Hit to the shortstop. This one in the dirt. Good scoop that time by Margettis. And Daytona State will head back to the dugout. So the Falcons give up 1. Still within striking range, though. It's 7-4. We go to the bottom of the 5th here at Daytona State College. 7-4 is your score here at Daytona State College. We are having a blast. Great softball on a beautiful Thursday here on campus. Falcons trying to tie this one up, possibly take the lead. Trinity Howard has been battling in the circle for Eastern Florida. Daytona State, they trailed 6-0. 4 unanswered runs before giving up another just a few moments ago. And now Mariana Rodriguez coming up here for the home team.
Daytona State had all the momentum. You go back about 10 minutes, bases loaded with 1 out, a chance to potentially tie or take the lead. Instead, Trinity Howard pitches herself out of trouble with a strikeout and a ground ball, and then an error in the top half of the inning allows Eastern Florida to add to the lead. So after falling behind 6-0, Daytona State rallied to make it 6-4, now find themselves in a 3-run hole.
Mariana Rodriguez back in the lineup for Daytona State. Coach Harrell so happy to have this young lady back. Austin, you talked about that collision that she was in, led to the concussion. She had to sit out. Just another injury that the Falcons have had to deal with this year, and now she's got 2 strikes. So we talked about the injury to Rodriguez. There's been other injuries that you can go through when you go player to player. That injury bug, it's incredible how in sports it just kind of lingers. Paige Lassiter, a star player for Daytona State, Austin, also part of that story.
Projected to be one of, if not their best pitcher coming into the year, also their leadoff hitter. She was throwing live batting practice, took a line drive to the eye. Obviously an incredibly scary situation. Stopped practice, took her to the hospital. Everything kind of stops when you're in a situation like that, as Rodriguez reaches base for the second time and slides in with a double. Lassiter still dealing with some vision issues, but expected to make a comeback next season. Excited to be part of the team in albeit a limited capacity, certainly not the role that she expected this season. But the good news is that she is recovering, and the hope is that she'll be back on the field. And she has been an inspiration to this entire team throughout the season.
Paige Lassiter, a freshman out of Tampa. And well said, Austin. That incident really shook up this entire team, and also a bit of a reality check to them as well. Your health is the most important thing as a young athlete. As McQueen takes a strike, and great job also by Mariana Rodriguez digging that one out, turning a single into a double, a la Pete Rose back in the day.
It was like a Charlie Hustle reference.
Oh, yeah. Talk about the guy who you wanted to emulate as a player. It was Charlie Hustle. Daisy McQueen. Big hit her last time up. She is woken up offensively here today. Right down the pipe for a strike.
No signs of McQueen squaring around a bunt. So Coach Harrell, at this point in the game, trailing by 3 runs, is going to allow her players to swing away, try to make something happen with a bat.
Three balls, 1 strike now. If you're just joining us, Daisy McQueen, not quite herself this season. Remember, all-conference player in 2021. She has woken up with the cameras on WDSC TV. They can do that. Another strike makes it a full count. Sometimes players, Austin, when those bright lights are on, that's when they're at their best.
Some players love the spotlight, and McQueen has looked very comfortable today. I've liked her approach. Made great contact in her last at-bat. RBI triple.
Big pitch here. Gets a good cut on it, fouls it away. Dugout is alive for the Falcons. Ball 4. And that was very, very close. But as we've said all day, that outside corner, not a popular place with our home plate umpire.
Just high. And McQueen now has been on base all 3 plate appearances, 2 walks in that triple. We'll see if Coach Harrell elects to be aggressive here with the speed of Rodriguez and McQueen.
You know, what we've seen a lot today is Eastern Florida huddles up inside the circle. Every time a Daytona State player gets on, Austin, the bird reference, the flying, I love it.
Baseball, softball, all have their kind of quirks that, you know, keep players engaged and keep things loose. Always enjoy watching stuff like that, learning about what makes players tick, why they do certain things.
Trinity Howard trying to go the distance here. Get a key win on Eastern Florida's schedule. Sarah Pollock will be the hitter. 2 runners on here for Daytona State. Table is set here in the 5th. Nice pitch that time from Howard.
Pollock's just been a little bit early. Last 2 at-bats, flew out to left field twice.
You know, you get to this part of the day, Austin, you know, we're looking from our above camera also. The sun, as it goes down, it presents at times a glare right there. It's really, really bright on that side, so as that ball comes with a lot of velocity, sometimes we've seen, I think, some of the hitters frozen just a little bit. Not this time, though, as Pollock lines it into right field. A run will try and score, and Daytona State makes it a 7-5 game. So much for not seeing the ball.
Pollock going the other way with it, which is what we've seen from the majority of these Daytona State hitters that have had success. Rodriguez, McQueen, now Pollock, all working opposite field, and that's going to chase Trinity Howard.
So Eastern Florida, they just could not wait any longer. Had to get her some help. Shelby Pettit comes out of the dugout. And a new pitcher gets warmed up for Eastern Florida. It will be Ariana Gonzalez, the freshman out of Pompano Beach.
Product of Coral Springs Charter, which has been as good as any softball program in the state the last 5 to 10 years, routinely competing for and winning state championships.
Oh, lots of goodies coming your way here on WDSC TV. We've got softball coming up March 29th. Be sure and join us 3 p.m. right here on the Falcons Athletics Network, and then baseball as well. That's coming up on April 4th, 4 o'clock is your time.
Both games against Lake Sumter State College, as by that point in the season will be in conference play when the games take on an extra level of meaning.
So still altogether, after today, 3 more broadcasts on WDSC TV. As our coverage continues year in and year out of Daytona State athletics. You can always watch games on YouTube, but to have the chance to hear Austin Lyon, that only happens a few times a year. And also Ted Sofianos. We've both had the privilege of working with Teddy. Throw it down to second base, trying to bait the runner, and coming in for Daytona State. It is a 1-run game. McQueen able to score.
So they end up getting Pollock at second base, but as a result of throwing down there, McQueen comes home. That's the risk you take if you decide to throw towards second base. So it's now a 1-run game.
Peyton Brennan takes one inside. Peyton Brennan, tremendously reliable player. She's been playing in right field today for Daytona State, and she will take her base. We're seeing right now from this Falcons team, everybody's starting to make contributions. This game has been a team effort. Still work to do, trailing by 1 run, but everybody really doing a good job pitching it.
Yeah, all 4 hitters have reached so far in the inning. The only out came on the bases as they threw out Pollock going to second. So Brennan represents the tying run, and there she goes.
Safe there. Well, that was really, really close. Good throw by Addie Lyle, the Eastern Florida catcher.
That throw took Thyssen to the first base side of the bag, which means she had to go just a little bit further than she probably wanted to.
Leighton Strickland. Good job of hustling her last time up. Was able to beat that underhanded throw to first. See what she can do here. Able to make contact. Right at the second baseman, though. Does not have to move. And there's 2 outs.
Nice reaction there by Leach. And credit Brennan. You know, you have a hard hit line drive like that, you're coached to freeze, right? You freeze on a line drive. That's what you're told from the time you start playing at a young age. But when the ball's hit so sharply, your reaction takes you to the next base. Brennan didn't get too far away. Otherwise, it could have been a double play.
Adriana Onesimo now the hitter, top of the order for Daytona State. Falcons dugout trying to ignite this offense. They are finally within 1 run. We expected a close ball game, and that is exactly what we have gotten. Didn't look that way early on. Eastern Florida led 6-0, but very slowly the Falcons have fought back, and here they are. Will this tie the game? I don't think so. Great play at second. The diving snatch by Leach over to Fair, and that retires the Falcons in the 5th. But Daytona State still able to get a couple runs. It's a 1-run game, 7-6 here at Halifax Health Softball Stadium in Daytona. Seven to 6 is your score as we head to inning number 6 here at Daytona State College. Halifax Health Softball Stadium, Drew Felios, Austin Lyon. This game's had a little bit of everything. We have not seen a long ball just yet, but both teams have really swung the bat well.
Still got a couple innings to go. Who knows what kind of drama is left. From 6-0 to 7-6. Daytona State trying to come all the way back and pull off the win in the first of a doubleheader. These two teams will have a short break, then right back at it. And there's the player who has been the star in my mind for Daytona State. The third pitcher we've seen today, Sarah Pollock. After Hannah Rizzuno started, she went an inning. We saw Zoe Emerson come in. She did not record an out. Pollock came in, inherited a really challenging situation, and she has more than held her own in the circle. A tremendous relief appearance for Sarah Pollock to try and give her team a chance to come back.
So Eastern Florida trying to make a couple moves after making a pitching change. Coach Pettick, see what strategy she goes with here. It looks like Stout is going to be the hitter. And we likely will have pinch hitters coming up here momentarily. Courtney Stout, a freshman, really plays like a seasoned collegiate player. Real talented find for Coach Pettick and Eastern Florida. Ball misses low. Sarah Pollock, Austin, doesn't do it with overpowering stuff, but really locates well. She needs that big pitch. She gets it.
Only 3 strikeouts coming into the game this afternoon in 16 2/3, but she struck out 5 so far today. She has really elevated her level of play to meet the challenge this afternoon. She's kept the ball down. Pounded the lower part of the strike zone. Great mix of off-speed pitches to keep hitters off balance. And when she gets to 2 strikes, that off-speed pitch has been lethal.
Little dribbler. Yeah, when you keep the ball low like that, as a hitter, there's only so much you can do with it.
Nearly impossible to make solid contact on a pitch like that. You're swinging down on it. The ball essentially just gets pounded into the ground. That one was hit weakly. And Pollock, obviously, because of her ability to play in the field, is going to more than hold her own at fielding her position.
Now it's Damone. Tried to drag one down. Good job, again, by Pollock, keeping it low and away for strike 1. As you said, Austin, another game coming up after this one, so if you're in the area, you want to get out, get some fresh air, watch some great softball, Halifax Health Softball Stadium, a great place to be tonight. This is driven into the outfield. Well done by Damone. She is an impressive player.
Damone, the leading hitter for Eastern Florida, 400 coming into the game. 441 coming into the game. And that average is going up with a 3-for-4 effort today. And you can almost guarantee that she will be on the move.
Time for Molly Reed. Going to second is Damone. She'll beat the throw.
And the throw was a little bit on the first base side of the bag. It made it difficult on Onesimo, but not a bad throw. I mean, it's just a fact of speed. You know, Damone is so fast. You'd have to be perfect for Riley Keefe to have a chance to get her.
Chop to third, and that one is in foul territory.
And that represents a really important run. You know, it seems kind of harmless at the moment, single, stolen base, but that's how you score. Now one more hit, and it becomes a 2-run margin. Much more difficult to try to rally from 2 runs down as opposed to 1.
Hit right back to the pitcher. Well, Sarah Pollock has done her job today. She gets the second out. Daytona State now with one more out to can get back to the dugout here in the bottom of the 6th.
And Pollock's now gone 4 2/3, and she's only allowed 2 hits. Both of them singles.
It's a lot of the same type of outs, too. Little dribblers hit. As Coach Harrell rallies the troops here. I think Coach Harrell's got the great approach, Austin, that not all coaches have. You know, so many coaches we cover, it's so much about them and athletes fitting into their system and their program. Kelly says, hey, I'm just here to help these ladies accomplish their goals. It's about them and making them better individuals to go off into the world after softball is done. I think that's a great approach. It should be about the athletes.
Yeah, her goal is to make a positive impact on these women and do it through the sport of softball, right? It's not all about softball and improving your game and getting you better at a specific skill. It's about developing the whole person. That's the type of approach that you see from the best coaches.
Mackenzie Force turn. A little low.
Yeah, the pitching staff as a whole has done a good job on 4. You know, in that 3-hole, she's a player that possesses a lot of power, dangerous hitter. She's above 400, handful of extra base hits.
Runner on second base, 2 outs here for Eastern Florida. Mackenzie Ford at the plate. Low again. They got a chance at third. Oh, looked like the tag was in time, but another good job over there. Is the speed of Dimone a little too much.
It's an interesting move by Dimone and Coach Pettick to try to take third base there, because you know the control from Pollock has been really good. There haven't been balls that have gotten away from Keefe. And with Dimone's speed, if the ball's put in play and there's a hit, she's almost certainly going to score. So that was a really risky strategy there by trying to take third base, but it did work out for Eastern Florida.
Hit to the third baseman. Ford has not been able to do anything with Sarah Pollock today, as Pollock has another big pitch. And the Falcons within striking range. It's a 1-run game. In the bottom of the 6th, they'll come up when we return here to Daytona. Well, you can accelerate your education by taking advantage of the incredible opportunities offered through Halifax Health partnership with Daytona State College. If you want a rewarding career in healthcare, find out how we can help at halifaxhealth.org/education to employment. Halifax Health Softball Stadium, the site here in Daytona Beach, and a new pitcher coming on for Eastern Florida. So Eastern Florida making some moves here late in this game. Mackenzie 4 heads into the circle for the Titans.
Daytona State hit Mackenzie 4 really well in the second game of their doubleheader back on February 3rd. That was one of the 4 games that Daytona State has won this season. 7 different players with a hit, and they scored 13 runs, a season high. So we talked about how Sarah Pollock has gotten a chance to atone for her poor outing against Eastern Florida. Now the same opportunity afforded to 4.
Maddie Linhart watches it outside. You know, if you're Mackenzie 4-2, haven't shown your best at the plate so far in this game. I imagine you go back to the dugout there between innings, like, okay, coach, give me the ball. If you can't hit it, you may as well pitch it, right?
Looking to contribute to her team in a positive way.
That is hit hard, right down the line. It's fair. Linhart's going to turn towards second base. Daytona State has the tying run aboard.
I think that was the hardest hit ball that we've seen all game. That was just blistered past the third baseman, Gracie Holland, and inside the line. A tremendous piece of hitting there from Linhart, who mentioned has kind of been handcuffed a little bit, forced to sacrifice a couple times in the game.
Hannah Rizzuto lays one down. Let's do it for the team. Can she beat the throw? No, she won't. But she does her job, gets the runner over to third base.
A really good bunt there by Rizzuto. Grayson Holland had to come all the way down close to home plate to field it. Rizzuto not quite fast enough to leg it out, but she certainly does her job. Get some well-deserved congratulations going back to the dugout.
Anna Margettis' turn.
And now we're in the heart of the order for Daytona State. Margettis, the cleanup hitter, so you've got 4, 5, 6 behind Margettis. Rodriguez and McQuain have seen the ball extremely well today. So obviously you want a productive out. You want Margettis to put the ball in play to give Linhart a chance to come home. But if you're a Daytona State fan in the back of your mind, you're thinking that if Margettis can get a hit here, you like your chances of Daytona State taking the lead here in the bottom half of the 6th. And at 2-0, a chance to be really selective. You're looking for one pitch in one spot if you're Margettis.
Takes a cut. This one fouled back. Margettis leading RBIs for Daytona State with 18 of them coming in. We have not seen a sample of that today. Is this the moment? A lot of the things we thought we saw in this game we haven't seen. It's been that type of game. Players stepping up who you would not normally think. Players like Daisy McQuain, Leighton Strickland. This one outside. And Margettis gonna make for work for this.
Well, again, Margettis is in control of the at-bat here. You're looking for one pitch in one spot. Don't make it easier on the pitcher by swinging at something out of the zone.
There's a strike.
But that's okay. If you didn't like that, that's not your pitch. You don't have to swing at it. Now, the onus shifts back to Margettis. She's got to shorten up. And anything around the zone, you've got to be aggressive.
3-2 the count. Daytona State trying to tie this game or possibly take the lead. Margettis fouls it away. Sun slowly going down here on the east coast of Florida. Another classic battle between these two schools. We've seen it in basketball, soccer, volleyball, baseball. Here we are in softball. Eastern Florida and Daytona State. Never a dull moment. Big swing and a miss. Margettis is down on strikes. And now 2 outs.
So what a moment here for Mariana Rodriguez. Missed the last 6 games in concussion protocol. Back in the lineup today. She's already had a great game, 2 for 3 with a line drive that could have easily been a hit.
Contact made. Hit to the right fielder. Drifting back to make the play was Courtney Stout. A little bit of hesitation there, but finally able to track it down. And again, Eastern Florida dodges a bullet. Falcons are right there, but have not been able to pull even. 7-6, your score after 6 here in Daytona Beach. Let's go to the 7th inning here on WDSC TV, and we invite you to follow us as always on Twitter at DSC Falcons Sports. Don't forget to use the hashtag #GoFalcons. The social media platform for Daytona State Athletics continues to grow.
Such an important way to be able to reach your audience and bring in new fans to Daytona State. I know you're all about that quality content on social media.
100%. Lots of selfies, as always.
I don't know if I'd call that quality content.
Oh, you had to go there, huh? Chop to the shortstop. Tough play, but Onesimo able to get it over there to first, and Margettis with the stretch for the first out. Well, how about this? I'll take a selfie and I'll put you in it, Austin. Then it'll become quality.
That's only going to decrease engagement when you put me in it. Nice play there by Margettis. Really needed to stretch out in order to secure the out there. It was tight play with Thyssen.
Eastern Florida trying to get a little insurance here. You can just feel it. They do not fully comfortable with heading back out of the field with just a 1-run lead.
They've been aggressive, but again, the work by Pollock. I mean, this is something that really, hopefully, she'll build on for the rest of the season. Just a tremendous outing.
Hit hard though. Foul. Another ball that was absolutely drilled.
I think that was as hard a ball as we've seen hit by anyone off Pollock today. It's been so hard for them to square her up.
Looking in now to that Florida sky. Tell you what, it is a beautiful night here on campus at Daytona State. Pollock comes with a changeup this time, and it is fouled as well. I mean, when you're here on the East Coast and that sun goes down, Austin, man, that never gets old.
Amazing how quickly it got warm. You know, up to 90 degrees in parts of Central Florida today. Not quite as warm over here on the coast where you can count on that nice ocean breeze.
Chopped to the third baseman, tough play. How about that play? The stretch by Marquettes, the throw by Linhart, and there's 2 down.
The left side of the infield has been tested by a couple of slow rollers. First Onesimo, that time Linhart, who we've raved about throughout the game. Her defensive prowess at third base. And so just one more out from Pollock, and Daytona State will be back at the plate with a chance to win it in the bottom half of the inning. I think in the early part of the game, when Daytona State pitchers were struggling to find the zone, Eastern Florida was being really patient with Pollock, and they were finding themselves in a number of 2-strike counts. And so Pollock's off-speed stuff was really locking them up. As the game's gone on, you've seen them start to get more aggressive early in the count, but because of the way Pollock's thrown, they haven't been able to square up many balls.
Linhart, another gem at third base. She has played the hot corner to near perfection today. Daytona State has one more chance to tie this game or possibly win it. They'll come up to bat when we come back on WDSC TV. Well, it all comes down to this for Daytona State, trailing 7-6 here at their home Halifax Health Softball Stadium. 1 run ties it, 2 runs is a walk-off. Mackenzie Ford, the third pitcher of the day, used by Eastern Florida, and this was the exact reason she was brought in, to shut the door right here, right now. Daisy McQuain, the first batter to lead this inning off.
This is 6, 7, 8 in the lineup for Daytona State, but each of the 3 players due up in this half inning has a hit already in the game, and McQuain's got 2.
Took a little bit off that one and delivers a strike.
And the inside part of the plate has been friendly for the most part to Eastern Florida pitching. Starting with Trinity Howard and now with Mackenzie Ford.
Just misses outside.
How about the plate discipline from McQuain today? Couple of walks. And she has scored 3 runs. On base every time. Crossed home plate every time.
Tremendous contribution from her. You'll notice, Austin, when McQuain steps in for Daytona State. A little bit of a different grip on the bat, a little unorthodox. Watch how she holds it here. She has like a space between her two fists there.
And one of her fingers on the left hand off the bat there.
Outside. You rarely see a bat held like this, but for McQuain, it works. The 3-2 on the way from Mackenzie Four. Falcons need a base runner. Hit hard. It's fair. McQuain's got a chance at 2. Stops at second base. And the tying run in scoring position for the Falcons.
Oh, what a day for Daisy McQuain. 2 for 2, been on base all 4 times. And we mentioned she scored every time she's been on base today.
How about that for busting out of a slump? That is how you do it, Daisy. Well done here on WDSC TV. Sarah Pollock now coming up for the Falcons. Tried to lay one down, laid off it, and it's a ball. Heads up play by the infield for Eastern Florida. Pollock, the MVP today, I think undisputedly for the home team. The way she has just nailed things down in the circle. She shut the door on Eastern Florida. And quickly, she's ahead in the count, Austin, 2-0.
And Four being careful here. So if you're Pollock, you're likely going to get a pitch that's on the plate here at 2-0, but important to be selective.
Lays one down, right back to the pitcher. Four will take care of it. McQuain is standing on third base now with just 1 out. So, Austin, you do a little baseball coaching, I know, with your son. So I'm gonna put the coaching hat on you right here. Do you try and lay one down here and get her in, or do you try and swing away?
So it all depends on how comfortable you are with Peyton Brennan and how good she is at handling the bat. I am always going to be an advocate for putting pressure on the defense. So if Coach Harrell has trust in Brennan and she's a good bunter, then I think you square around, because the speed of McQuain, she is going to be really hard to get at home plate. You know, as long as you don't bunt it with too much on it, McQuain is going to score. But you have to have trust that Brennan is going to make contact. And so it's all a question of what Coach Harrell has seen from her in practice. You don't want to put players in a situation where they're not going to succeed, that they're not used to doing something. So I think whatever Peyton Brennan does best, whether it's making contact, swinging away, or being able to lay down a bunt, that's what Coach Harrell's going to ask her to do here.
Brennan, a tremendous contact hitter. She does not strike out a lot. Great base runner as well. If she can get on, she'll lay one down. Four comes up. The tag is there. Oh, she's out at the plate. McQuain tried to get that left hand under the tag. It was so close. And I think Harrell wants an explanation. She thinks she beat the tag.
Well, Brennan got the bunt down, but she bunted it with a lot of force right back to Mackenzie Four, who was able to glove it. It was a difficult play, and then you've got to make an accurate flip to Addie Lyle, who does a great job covering the base. I like the call from Coach Harrell. Just didn't work out, and so now it's up to Strickland to try to keep the rally going with 2 outs.
So the drama builds here in Daytona. And Leighton Strickland with 2 outs. The final hope for the Falcons. Young lady who worked her way into the lineup, started the season as a pinch runner. Big smile today has really shown that she can play this game. The tying run now is on first base for Daytona State. But I agree, Austin, and in that situation, you cannot fault the Falcons for trying to lay one down and get the speedy McQuain to the plate. It just by an inch, if that.
And a great play, great multiple plays. You know, the field by 4, the toss to Lyle, her positioning, and able to get the tag on.
Just missed outside. So with Brennan on first, let's see if the Falcons try and move her over here. Try and swipe a bag. Make it a little easier for Strickland. Not gonna matter. Mackenzie Ford gets the strikeout. Leighton Strickland, little late getting around, in Eastern Florida able to make the right plays at the right time to take game 1 of this doubleheader by a score of 7-6. But well played by both teams, and what a great comeback by the Falcons of Daytona State.
Yeah, credit Eastern Florida. They came out ready to hit. They had a great approach. They jump out to a 6-0 lead. Ultimately, Daytona State, all that great work to battle back. You get within 1 run on multiple occasions. And Coach Harrell talked about, and we mentioned this throughout the broadcast, it was about getting a clutch hit, a clutch strikeout. And there were a lot of clutch hits today for Daytona State with the game on the line. Couldn't quite come through with a good enough bunt to be able to get Daisy McQuain home and tie it up. And so I'm sure they're feeling not great about the result, but you know, a valiant effort by Daytona State to fight back, and certainly Coach Harrell and her girls can take a lot from this performance.
Absolutely. Great job by Sarah Pollock, also Daisy McQuain, tremendous here today. The starting pitcher for Eastern Florida, Trinity Howard, tremendous, battling the Daytona State lineup. Mackenzie Ford coming in. So many kudos to go around. I love collegiate softball, especially in the NJCAA. We hope you enjoyed it. We certainly did. Austin, tremendous work here in Daytona Beach. Great job by all of our crew. Everybody you see on that screen, they make everything happen. For Austin Lyon, I'm Drew Felios saying so long from Daytona State College. Eastern Florida tops Daytona State by a final score of 7-6. We'll see you next time right here on WDSC TV.